Hello, everybody. Hope you're having a great Monday. Welcome to the Prep Talk Live Show. If you're new here, my name is Kissa. I'm an entrepreneur and I host this live show every Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific time just to talk about life, talk about business, and plan for the week. So if that sounds like something that interests you, please do hit subscribe. I would love to have you be part of the fam. And if you want to dive deeper with me and just talk about business, all the information on how to contact me, how to follow me on Instagram, and all the good stuff is in the description below. So usually every single week, I talk about a recap of last week. Then we'll talk about what kind of goals and what kind of work-related things we have on the docket for next week. And then also share some takeaways and some life lessons or business lessons that I've learned that I wanted to share with you in this week's video. So let's just jump right into it. 1 second really quick. I'm just going to move Micah's baby monitor really quickly so that I can keep an eye on him. So I do these live shows when my son Micah naps, just so that I have quiet time and you guys aren't going crazy with all of the video noise in the background and all that stuff. So that's why I do it. I do these live shows at this specific time. But anyway, so let's jump in and talk about last week. So last week, to tell you the truth, it was kind of a mess. I mean, it always is. It's always a mess, but I felt more scattered last week than I have in a long time. And I think the reason is because I thought I would have a better handle on things. And I would be able to keep track of projects, or I would be able to get all the things done by Thursday because we had a short week. And no, that wasn't the case. Of course, I tried to get as much as I could done by Thursday last week so that we can really enjoy our family time on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But stuff came up, emails came in, and orders were placed and things like that. And so it did get a little bit messy. And I kind of felt scattered and a little bit uneasy, only because I wasn't using my productivity tools and I felt like I was forgetting something. I felt like since I didn't write it down or put my thoughts down on paper or in a note on my phone or on my tablet, it just felt like it was floating in my head, and the thought would just leave and then eventually come back, and I just kind of go, when was that supposed to get done? Did I do it already? Have I emailed them back? What's happening here? And so I felt pretty scattered, but it just made me realize, okay, I need to get back into things. We need to start using our productivity tools again. And that way we don't feel this way, because it just reminded me of how anxious I felt. And I never really thought of myself as someone that has anxiety or anything like that. But I guess I do subconsciously, and I guess not thinking about it, I do. And so the main reason is because I'm a people pleaser, and I just want to make sure I don't let anyone down. And if I promise something or if I commit to something, I want to make sure that I can deliver. And mainly the reason why I wouldn't deliver is because I forget. So it's just, excuse me, it's just the life of, a busy person, just as I'm sure all of you are. And so if this resonates with you, if you feel like you're kind of all over the place, my advice and my 2 cents is the reason why I personally feel this way is because I don't write it down. And you don't have to use my system. You don't have to make it complex. You could just make it really simple. But either way, find a system that works for you so that when these tasks or important things pop up in your head, or if you're committing to something, you get into that habit of picking up whatever it is you need to make sure you don't forget it. Because the last thing I want is to let people down. It just devastates me. Sorry, I went out of focus. There we go. The last thing I want is to let someone down, especially when I've committed. It'd be one thing if, I don't know, that person had just an outrageous expectation of me. But if it was on me and I dropped the ball, oh, the guilt that rushes through me, I just never want to feel it. It's just, oh my goodness. There we go. It's going to drive me crazy that it's not in focus. Okay. I think that's a little better. Is that better? There we go. Okay. Anyway, so that's the main reason that I figured out is my why for wanting to be more organized and wanting to have a better handle on just my projects and what I need to get done. It's just really important to me that I don't let my loved ones down or my colleagues down. And so it's got to be written down. It's got to be in a place. So that's how I kind of felt last week. It was a great week. Other than that, for the most part, I want to say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I was pretty good. I'm just looking at my weekly agenda from last week just to see how I kind of did. I want to say I did pretty good at the beginning of the week, but once it started edging closer to the end of the week, it slowly started to kind of taper off. And that's when things kind of, things went sour, I guess, from there. But it's okay, because with and this is something that I tell myself when I consistently just kind of forget or drop the ball in some areas and I kind of get hard on myself. The thing that I always tell myself is you can always start new as long as we're here and we realize that we fell off or lost momentum or whatever it is. The great news is we have another chance and we can start today. So that's kind of the attitude that I'm coming in with this upcoming week. And it makes me feel pretty good. I have a few things that I'm going to share that I want to share with you guys that I'm super excited about. And so we'll go into that in a second. Let's see, last week, what else? Charlie, Micah, and I went to Disney to celebrate Micah's birthday on Friday, which is why we kind of had a short week because it was a long weekend. So President's Day was that Monday, and then we worked Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then we were off to Disney and spent time with family over the weekend. So it was kind of a whirlwind because even though, and I've mentioned this before, we don't really work on Fridays unless we have to. Charlie and I make kind of an effort to make Friday a family day, an extra family day for us. For whatever reason, whenever we go to my in-laws or we have plans on Friday, it makes me, I don't know, it makes me feel a little more anxious about that Friday, even though we normally don't work on Fridays. So it's a weird mental thing in my head about how I need to get all this stuff done before we leave. But in reality, almost every Friday, we don't work. We set that day as a day off. So it made me realize that it's a mental thing. It's a mental shift. And everything will be okay. It's not like the world is going to fall apart just because I take a day off and I'm not near my desktop computer at home. So that's something that I need to work on. That's something that was a revelation to me when it came down to how my schedule is affected. Actually, in reality, it's not. It's just I'm in a different physical place. Anyway, so that was last week. This week, I'm really excited. I just have a refreshed outlook, let's just say. I feel good about this week, and I think it's because we're going into a new month. This is month number 3 of quarter 1, so it's the last month of quarter 1. And I don't know, there's just this sense of this slow shift that's happening in my life and in my business. And with every passing week, I feel like we're getting closer to clarity, closer to this feeling of things are falling into place. And I don't know if I've shared this with you guys in the past, but I'll share it now. It's weird because ever since the holidays, I want to say, especially let's say starting January 1st, but it kind of started in November, December. Ever since then, I knew that I've been in this season of waiting. Like I just have to kind of press pause, and I know in my gut that, that God's telling me that I need to just sit. Why? Because I'm the type of person that sitting is and doing nothing and being patient, ooh, that is hard for me, guys. That is just not something that comes naturally to me. I feel guilty if I'm not being productive or if I'm not doing something. And so when I knew that I had to be in this season of waiting, I was like, this is going to be tough. This is not going to be easy for me. I should be enjoying it. I should be relaxing. I should be, doing the things that I've been putting off because I've always put work first for all this time. Now is my time to enjoy myself or just relax a little bit, let go of the reins, stop being so tightly wound, that type of thing. And like I said, it was so hard. It's just, sheesh, it was so hard. And I'm still in that season. But I can feel this sense of excitement because I think I'm finally going to be in a place where I'm moving out of this season of waiting. And after being in that season, I'm refreshed. I'm excited for what's to come instead of being stressed about it. I'm valuing more my time, my personal time, my family time. It's just I've learned so much about the lack of balance I had in my life because I was always focused on work. Work was always the priority. Work always took precedence over everything else. And in this season of waiting, I've learned that while work is important, work is there to fulfill me in certain ways, to create financial stability for our household and to provide for our family and all those things. While all those things are super important, it's not everything. And I know that when I say it out loud, and I kind of feel foolish admitting that that's how I felt, but it's true. My business and my work was so important to me. My life revolved around it. And ask my friends, ask my family, they know that this is 100% true. And now I look back and I'm ashamed of it. I'm ashamed that I let one thing engulf me that much and lost my balance a little bit. And not a little bit, I lost my balance a lot. And it's unfortunate, but what I'm glad for is I had this time of waiting, of just sitting down, waiting for the next ball to drop. And I say this because I chose to follow my gut on this. I chose to follow my gut on this feeling that I had that I just needed to chill for a second. Because if I wait and I wait for the right time for the ball to drop, instead of forcing it because I don't want to sit down and be patient, I want it to happen now, or I worry about our finances or whatever the case may be, whatever reason I want to give myself for wanting to push forward before it was the right time. That's what I would normally do. And then I would be stressed because I wasn't prepared. I wasn't ready. I was just forcing it. And it would just be much harder than it needed to be because I wasn't in the right place. It wasn't the right time. And this time I'm listening. I'm listening to myself and what I know my gut is telling me, that I should be enjoying this time mostly with my family. I should be enjoying this time with my family. I should be enjoying this time not working so much because things are going to get busier, but now I know I'm more clear of what I want out of life, and that is balance. So I don't necessarily want to just have this time where I just sit on my butt the rest of my life and not do anything. I don't think I would ever be able to do that. I definitely still want to be, I want to be productive. I want to have a business. I want to work towards something. I don't want to just be sitting and doing nothing. So I know that much. And I also know, though, that I don't want to be working 24/7. I thought I did in the past. I thought that I was happy with that life. I thought that that's the life that I would live because I found it fulfilling. But truth be told, when I see what's possible now, it makes me really excited because now I'm like, okay, I do definitely want to work, but I don't want my work to consume me. I want to make sure that I make time for my family and make time for myself. And if I didn't have this season of waiting, I wouldn't be able to tell you guys that truth right now because I would just keep telling myself, we got to hustle, we got to grind, we got to do our thing, we got to build our businesses. And, all the while, we're sacrificing our lives, our personal lives. At least I was. And so I'm not willing to do that anymore. I'm willing to grow my business. I'm willing to, I'm willing to spread the amount of, that's the wrong word. I think what I'm trying to say is I'm willing to grow my business and I'm willing to spread myself out in the way that, like, I could be a mom and I could be an entrepreneur at the same time. I could be a wife also. I could be a friend. I could do all those things. But what I'm not willing to do anymore is put one before the other always. And that's what I'm trying to say, I think, is just the reality of right now, I am an entrepreneur. I'm doing my live show. I'm talking to you guys. I'm creating content. And so because I'm in entrepreneur mode right now, I have to realize that I'm not being a mom right now. Does that make sense? So if everything was equal on neutral ground at this very moment, entrepreneurship takes higher precedence because I committed to showing up. I committed to showing up with you guys, and I'm building my business as we speak right now. So the lever on the business scale, on the entrepreneur scale, goes up, and everything else has to come down. There's always a sacrifice that has to be made when you focus on something, because when you say yes to something else, the reality is we're saying no to another. And that's not permanent. The word no isn't permanent, but for the time being, that's the focus, right? And then say when Micah gets up from his nap, the pendulum swings again, and being a mom takes precedence over being an entrepreneur. And I can't do both. It can't be 100% mom, 100% entrepreneur at the exact same time. It's just not feasible. And I can do maybe 50-50, but if I did 50-50, how well would that go for my son, for Micah? Giving him only 50% of my attention. And same thing goes for my business. How beneficial would that be for my business? Giving it only 50% of my attention. I feel like either way, they both lose. The business and my family life both lose because they're not getting my very best. And that was a long-winded way of saying, like, I've got to pick one or the other. And then when one thing needs to be focused, I need to be okay. I need to be content with the idea that the other thing just isn't important at the time, for the time being. How long that lasts, who knows? Is it going to be a day, an hour, 5 minutes, a month, longer than that? Who knows? But that's the reality. And in this time of waiting, I've learned that. And so trying to navigate through that, I'm glad that this is kind of this slow uphill battle of growth for our business, and whatever is in store for us in this upcoming year as a business goes, I'm glad that it didn't just go from 0 to 100 right away. Because it's going at this steady, slow pace, I'm able to make those adjustments and I don't have to work as fast. I can figure things out as we go and do them right, versus if I were in a rush, I'm like, I'd be so consumed by just trying to make it work that I wouldn't come up with that ideal plan because I don't have time to think. It's just whatever's in front of me, we need to deal with it, right? So this time of waiting has been really beneficial for me. And like I said, I'm feeling the pendulum swing away from this time of waiting, and something is about to happen. I don't know when. I'm not sure how long, but I do know that I feel like I'm working my way out of this season of waiting. And so with this upcoming week, I'm really excited because it's 1 week closer to basically feeling that sense of a little more balance. And I got to say, like I said, I am not good with waiting. I like to be productive and I like to feel like I have, projects in the works. I like having things working in the background while other projects are in the forefront, but that was not my calling during this time in my life. My calling was to just sit still and wait. And so that was tough. That is tough. It's still happening right now. I'm not out of it yet, but we'll see what happens. But this week is going to be pretty exciting. So let's share the screen. One thing that I'm starting again is, so this is my HQ as usual. And here's my weekly agenda. So one thing that we started this week is Charlie and I started having our weekly business meetings again. So that hasn't happened in quite a while. And basically since the beginning, since mid-December. So it's been almost 2.5 months since we've had our regular meetings. And that's no good, guys. That is concerning. Oh, where'd it go? Weekly agenda. Let's see. Did I not create one yet? I didn't. All right. So I have a weekly agenda that's basically based on our meetings that we have every week. And since we haven't been having them, I haven't been creating them. But now we will. So today is February 28th until March 6th, I believe it is. And then we'll put in the date. So February 28th with an end date, of March 6th. So that's this week. And then I'll put, so this is related to my agenda. That way I can easily click to it. So let's go February and then look for the lion. And there we go. So that way, if I want to click to my agenda very quickly and easily, I can, and it's no problem. So I have usually on here what the staff schedule looks like, what our current orders for this week are, and then any supply orders that I need. Charlie is able to put those requests into this weekly agenda, and then any other tasks that we might need to tackle as well. So we've created this agenda, which is great. We're going to be doing our weekly meetings on Mondays every week at 8 a.m. So I've already put that in our calendar. I've sent my husband Charlie the invite, and that reminds me, I need to open up my calendar really quickly and put in an alert. So we'll just have an alert come on when the meeting is supposed to start. And so that just comes in weekly, which I thought I did, but I did not. So repeat every week. And then update. Did I set the alert? Yes, I did. Okay. So I want my event to occur every week, and I want an alert, like a push notification to alert me on my phone or on my computer, whatever device I'm using, at the time the event will start. And the reason why I just did that instead of, say, alerting me 15 or 30 minutes or an hour before the event is because Charlie and I are usually together at this time. So once the alarm goes off, I can just say, "Hey, are you ready? Let's just chat really quick." And our meetings are far beyond formal. They're not formal at all. It's just more of a powwow of like, "Hey, this is the emails that came through with orders." And then he tells me what supplies we need or what he's going to be buying, and that all that type of stuff. And then that way, if I am responsible for placing orders for certain supplies, I can do those, and then we're on the same page. It makes me feel a lot better to know that I have everything documented somewhere. That way, because of my scatterbrain, I can check and I can figure out what's going on. So this to me is extremely important. To someone like Charlie, it's great to have, but it's not pertinent to him. It's not like he lives and dies by his calendar. I do. And so this gives me that peace of mind. And regardless of if you're managing a team or if you're just trying to, communicate with your household or your husband or significant other or whatever it is, if it gives you that peace of mind, just do it, because it just makes your life so much easier. All right, so let's go into my personal weekly agenda. So this is my personal, and as you can see, this refers to the Ninong's weekly agenda. And the reason why I don't just make it all in one is because, for one, I like to keep my business and personal tasks separate, because I know that at some point I'm going to be collaborating with someone, whether it's Charlie or an assistant or, an office manager at some point. I'm going to be collaborating, and they don't need to see all the fluff. They don't need to see all of my tasks. I just want whoever it is I'm collaborating with to focus on what they need to get done or what I need them to know about. And so that's why I keep them separate. That's why I have a separate agenda for the business, and then I have a separate agenda for myself. All right, so this week's affirmation. So last week's affirmation was, let me read it for you guys. I will stay positive in the face of rejection, and I will not let it get in the way of my goals. That was a good one. I have always had somewhat of a thin skin in the sense that I'm not good with rejection. But obviously that's a part of life, right? And so that was a nice reminder to myself that, sometimes it's not gonna go the way you want. Sometimes people are gonna say yes to you. Sometimes people are gonna say no to you, and it's all okay. There's nothing wrong with the word no or rejection. If anything, since it is such a constant part of life, it's something that we should get comfortable with and understand. So that was a good reminder. All right. And then this week's affirmation is, let's pick this one. I shape my ideal self by sculpting positive habits. Ooh, guys, that's a good one. That's something that I need to fill you in on. I completely forgot. So last week, and I'm sure you guys don't know this, but in a previous life, in my college days, I used to dance. Actually, my high school and college days, I used to be a dancer. And that's actually how I met my husband, Charlie. He's a dancer as well. And all of our close friends that we have in our lives, we met from dancing. And it was the single most important thing to me because it brought me the people that I love so, so much. And so last week was the first time in God knows how long that I've actually got my ass up and danced. And I can tell you, I can't remember the last time I did that. And so it felt really good to be able to do something physical, to do something active, but more so, it felt really good to do something for myself that had no real weight to the decision. You know, like I always find myself having to make these hard decisions for the business. Which way we're going to go, what kind of products are we going to release, when are we going to do these events, who we're going to work with, who we're not going to work with. They're all big, big decision things. And maybe that's why I physically haven't done anything, because mentally I'm so exhausted. But because I've been in this time of waiting, like I mentioned, I actually did something for myself, and it costed me nothing. And it felt so, so good to be able to do that. Guys, I can't even begin to tell you. So I danced, like I said, for the first time in years, let alone exercise. I want to say the last time I exercised was in July of last year, sometime. Aside from, taking a walk because we're taking Micah to the park, or, whatever it is. But actually purposely being active, this was the first time in months that I've done anything. And like I said, it felt so good. It felt I felt so accomplished. I can't even tell you. And what's funny is, you're, and I need to be kinder to myself because I'm judging myself based on who I was before, but I could not retain the choreography for anything. It was so hard to pick up the choreography. I was disappointed in myself in the sense I just kept I was talking to myself in my head, and I was like, why is this so hard? Why is it so hard to retain this 1/8 count when in an hour in my college days, or even a little bit after that, it would take me an hour to learn 4 8 counts. And so I'm trying to show myself a little bit more grace. So I'm flexing that muscle too. But this affirmation definitely resonates. I'll read it to you guys again. It says, I shape my ideal self by sculpting positive habits. So I definitely don't want to stop dancing. I'm not going to be going to dance classes. That's for sure. I'm not going to be, doing anything like that. But dancing with no shame here at my house, I will absolutely do. And I am really excited to keep going. So let's put that into this week's affirmation section. So it says, I shape my ideal self by sculpting positive habits. Love it. I shape my ideal self by sculpting positive habits. Very cool. So this week, our 3 focuses maximum. One is I need to catch up on my Notion setup. Make sure all the tasks and due dates are correct and go through everything. Make sure that I feel good about that. The next thing is to dance at least 2 times this week. And the last one is set budget for March. Okay, so the last focus, setting the budget for March. Tomorrow's March 1st. Can y'all believe it? Because I cannot. Anyway, we have decided to do a no spend month. And that's the thing that I'm going to kind of talk to you guys about this week is Charlie and I are doing a challenge, and we thought that the month of March would be perfect because we have spent so much money in the past months, basically since August, because we went on a family vacation when my brother-in-law got married in August, and that just kind of spiraled into next thing we knew, It was our wedding anniversary, and then Thanksgiving, Christmas, all the expenses for that, and then Micah's birthday. So it just all felt like this snowball of expenses. And we were talking about it last week after Micah's birthday party, and we were like, I mean, it's not like we're in a bad place or anything like that, but we just want to challenge ourselves to save a little bit of money because, when you, at least for us, when we get in this habit of spending, it just goes way out of hand. And I'm not really the spending type. I'm actually the type that prides myself in getting a good deal. Like, that's just always been me. I love the concept of couponing. I've never really gotten serious into couponing, but finding a good flight deal or getting a vacation on a discount or finding a coupon code for the jeans I want to buy, like those things is what I like to do when it comes to shopping. I'm not the type that's just like, oh, I like it, I want it now, I'm gonna buy it now. It's just never been me. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, that's awesome. But for me, that's the way I go shopping. Like, if you walk through the mall with me and I was looking for a dress, for example, I would want to go to every store, look at all the dresses, and then make a decision on what I want to buy, which I remember used to drive Charlie insane. Like, it would just drive him crazy because he would have to walk with me through the mall to try and figure out, what it is I'm going to buy, instead of just buying the first thing that I see that I like. It's just who I am. And that's how I like to shop. I just want to know that I'm getting the best deal at the moment. I don't know, that it's just something that's always been ingrained in me. My mom did that too. And I find so much satisfaction in finding, the best price, the best deal. Anyway, so, because of all of that, we've set a no spend month, which basically means for the entire month of March, we're going to be minimizing our spending by a significant amount. So there's things that are already in place that we have to do. For example, we have a play date with our friends who also has a son that is basically the same age as Micah, and we're going to Disneyland with them. That's something that we booked before we decided on the no spend month, but we're going to be very cautious of how much we're going to be spending while we go to Disneyland with them. Same thing for this gala that Charlie and I have to attend for a Chamber of Commerce on March 20th. We are going to be very conscious of what we're going to be spending on, but it's something that was booked prior to deciding to do this no spend. So we are going to spend some money there. And then, of course, essentials. I've set a budget for our groceries. We're not going to be eating out unless it's for these things that were already previously planned, like I mentioned. And other than that, we're going to be really buckling down and eating at home, buying groceries, making sure that we don't buy more than we need to at the moment as far as food goes, so it doesn't spoil or doesn't go to waste, eating leftovers, all the things, so that we can really make the most out of this no spend month. And we were also talking about how it might be kind of good to do this no spend month every year in March because of just the way that our lives and the holidays and Micah's birthday just kind of snowball into each other. We were just thinking, if we do well, or if not, if we both like it, then we would do it again every single year, just so that we can get our bearings back and just kind of see where we are. And then we can figure out what to do again in April, or what kind of things we need to save for. So it's also kind of that great pause where Charlie and I can sit down as a couple and as business owners and just say, okay, this is where we're at, and then come up with a game plan. And that goes for anything that you want to do as a family unit or as business partners, right? Like, you always want to have your regular meetings, but something like this is kind of a great way to jumpstart that. And I know that it being a challenge, like we're setting parameters on it, is going to kind of be fun, because I find that when I do challenges like this, it's very easy for me to accomplish goals like this, because I like the fun of earning points or doing a challenge and committing to something and being kept accountable. So I'm really excited about that. But first things first is we need to set that budget. So that is something that I do all the time anyway. Oh, how come it is not in here? Oh, here we go. So a big thing for us to succeed in this is to make sure we check our Mint app. So we use Mint to track our budget. And so, oh shoot, let's open this up again. So that's something that we've set out, and I put it in my task list to check every Monday and Friday. And this goes toward my goal of a better financial, better financial health for this year. And so this has already been something that I've been doing. I'll check my app every Monday and Friday, and which has been great. But now I want to take it up a notch, and I want to take it to the next level. And I really think that doing this challenge will help me dive deeper into the app, because what I've been doing basically within Mint is just basically checking it and being like, okay, yeah, this is how much we spent, but I'm not conscious about it, and I'm not, I'm not calculating things and telling myself, oh, that we're overspending or underspending. I'm just looking at it and not really doing anything with the information. So I think the month of March will be really helpful in helping me dive deeper into the functionality of the app and how it will work for us as a family. So I'm also going to give access to Charlie so that he can see it as well. That's something that he brought up to me too, about wanting to be more conscious about it. So I think him wanting to get involved in the whole budget will help a lot too. So that's something that's going to be a regular thing for me and for him. And then we need to update our budget. So I have a budget spreadsheet that we have here that we use. I'm not going to click into it just because we have personal finances on there, but I'm going to look at that as well, just so that I can see what kind of expenses we do have that are just the non-negotiables, right? The utilities, the mortgage payment, the car payments, and all that stuff. We need to make sure that those obviously get taken care of. And then from there, we can figure out, I can do a comparison on the month of February and then also the month of March, and how different our spending looks. Because I know how much we spend on average every month on non-necessary things, because we use one credit card specifically for our entertainment spending, or like our excess spending. And so I want to see how much we're able to save. We'll see how it goes. I will definitely keep you guys updated on the status of that as things go by. But yeah, so that's basically this week's weekly agenda. I'm going to go into our daily journal now, as we usually do. So today is Monday, 2/28. It's the last day of February, and it's the week of February 28th to March 6th. Perfect. I'm going to put in my gratitude. So this morning I said, I'm grateful for my marriage and how much we've grown together over the years. So Charlie and I have been dating for a really long time. We're going on 18 years of dating, and we're going on 11 years of marriage. So, this, to me, that's a long time. And I guess because it is a long time, you just kind of think that things can go stale, or, you just get too comfortable. And while that's the case, it's not in a bad way. And so I'm just grateful that like Charlie and I still have a good, healthy marriage, and we are able to communicate with each other and joke around and make each other laugh and still do things for each other. It's just I'm grateful that I have that kind of relationship in my life. It definitely does not go unnoticed. So today I'm feeling loved, I'm feeling hopeful, and I'm feeling curious actually. I don't know why curious is yellow, because that means it's not necessarily a good thing, but it's also not necessarily a bad thing. And then my focus today is of the three, what was the catch up on my Notion setup, dance, and set budget for March. I think today I want to focus on my Notion setup. So I'm going to put that in here. And then the theme for today is productivity, because Notion is going to be part of the mix. And then these are for later. Okay, so I did do my morning routine today, which I'm very proud about. And then let's do my 3 tasks. So if my focus is Notion, I'm going to say I will focus on updating my tasks in my weekly agenda so that I have a clear picture of what needs to get done. Perfect. Other thing I will do is I will open Notion during lunch to update my progress and input any tasks that comes along throughout the day. And then I will open Notion in the evening to reflect. Guys, I've told you guys about reflection and how it's so important to me, and how I preach about how important. Oh gosh, you guys. Oops, there we go. Sorry. I haven't done any reflection at all. So I'm going to do that today. I keep saying I will. I say it every week on this live show, but I don't do it. So no good. Okay, so these are the things that I have to get done today. These are basically just taken from the task list that you saw in my weekly agenda, but it's just showing me what I need to do today. So go over my church notes, check my Mint app, which I will do after this live show, go over my goals, and then also sanitize, or basically clean. I need to wipe down some surfaces here at home. So that's it. Alrighty, let's stop the screen share. Come on. There we go. All right, so that's basically it. Let me know if you want to join Charlie and I for our No Spend March. I'm kind of excited about it, just because I want to see what I can do with a very small budget. So that's going to be really interesting for me. And then the other thing is, I'm going to kind of focus on the projects that I've been putting off that don't necessarily require money, that I can still do, because that'll help me weed through the projects. There's so many projects that I want to do when it comes to business, personal life, all that stuff. And sometimes the reason why I don't move projects forward is mostly just because I don't know which project to pick. There's just so many. And so it paralyzes me almost, in the sense that I don't want to do or work on a project because I just don't know which one I should work on. And so I feel like having this filter set where if I can't spend any money, then I can't work on any of the projects that require money. So there's a good amount of projects that need to get done that I've already purchased supplies for, or, that don't require supplies, that just needs my attention and nothing more. And so those are the projects that I'm going to definitely be working on, and we'll kind of weed through that. And I'll definitely update you guys on that as well, because if you are going to do the no spend march with us, then if you have projects that you still obviously want to get done because you still want to be productive, then I'm more than happy to share with you guys my progress and how it's going. I'm sure there's going to be bumps along the road. We may or may not get through it without spending any excess, like I mentioned, but the intention is there, and that's what's really important to me. So that is it for this week, you guys. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week. I hope it's productive. I hope it's everything that you want it to be. And until next Monday, have a great one. See ya. Bye.